Welcome in. It's your favorite show, Views from the Stands. I'm your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan, and we got a fun-filled Thursday night jam-packed show for you guys. I am definitely ready to jump into all of this stuff we got going on in the world of sports. We got some NFL news. We got some college football news. We got a college football national championship coming up, man. We got so much fun to be talking about. All right, fellas. Let's we got plenty to talk about out here, man. But of course, we always want you guys to please give us a like and subscribe so we can keep this thing going. Hit the bell and always let us know whenever we're going live. It just makes it easier for everybody else, man. All right, Mr. G Mike. I know we always have stuff to promote out here, buddy. Won't you go ahead and go first, my man? What you got going on?
Yes, sir. Guys, I run a Telegram channel where we offer sports gambling slips, daily slips for you guys. Just $5 a month. We could get you anywhere from $50 to $100 to $150 a day. So if you're trying to make a little side hustle money, you'll see the link pop up in the chat just right about now. Boom. Or if you're watching the recorded episode, you'll see it pop up on your screen. Or if not, just hit me up on one of my socials, slide in my DM. We'll get the conversation on and popping, baby.
Some spicy content in those DMs.
You never know. Hey, it's the right messages, man. Anyways, Mr. BC.
It ain't OnlyFans. It ain't only.
Yes, just George's fans.
Mr. BC, man, I know you coming off a Bucks loss. Unfortunately, you was at the game. I'm sure you'll tell us a little bit more about it. But before we get into that, why don't you go ahead and get into your stuff you got going on, my man?
For sure, man. Well, me and my wife, Desi, we got our wedding photography, videography company, brands.media. Not just photography, we do videography. We don't just do weddings and engagements. We're starting to work into senior portraits, family portraits, you name it, we'll do it. We'll make it happen. Again, if you want to check out our website for our portfolios, kind of see if we're kind of your style, it's Brandes, BRANDESS.media. And hey, we create memories that last a lifetime for all the Central Florida area.
Why you sound so down, dog? Why you sound so down right now, dog? Why you sound so sad, dog?
I'm sad, man, because it's
you guys made the playoffs, dog. Our team's gonna make the playoffs, bro.
Right.
But bro, I need that holiday money, man. I've only got one paycheck, yo boy. That's why I say also though too. You can see it on my handle right here. It says I will run camera for food, man. Come on.
There we go. I like it.
Andy, what's up, girl?
Yeah, especially like we were saying before, we already got people checking in, man. It's a lot of fun out here, man. That's what this show is all about. If you want to check in, give us a shout. Let us know what you got going on. It's time to get into some football. What do you guys think?
You already know,
let's do it,
baby.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna go ahead and start with the Carson Beck news. And Mr. G, Mike, I know you are going to have something to say about this. Carson Beck is transferring from the University of Georgia to the University of Miami. It's all about the U, right, G, Mike?
It's always all about the U, baby. And over here at the U, half of the fans like it and half of the fans don't.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. So the Carson Beck deal is going to be worth, the NIL deal is worth about anywhere expected between $4 to $10 million. Mm-hmm. He'll finish up his Georgia career with 7,912 passing yards, 58 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, a 68% completion rating, and 2 national titles. But I want to jump back into one thing real quick because I found this extremely interesting about this Carson Beck deal. Just to go over this NIL deal one more time, between $4 and $10 million. Travis Hunter made a joke about it, saying I might stay back in college one more year for that kind of money. But just to go over this deal one more time, he is going to be making as a base salary next year more than Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Brock Bowers, and Brock Purdy his entire NFL career. And this dude is going to be making $4 to $10 million, man. That is just absolutely insane how college football has just changed how everything is now, man. All right, Mr. G, Mike, I know you are a resident fan here. Won't you let the people know what's going on?
Yeah, man, over here on the side, half of the fans like it, half of the fans don't. For the fans that don't like it, they don't think that Carson Beck can be that guy to get us to the promised land of the national championship game or even try to win it. Which I kind of, sometimes I kind of do agree with that. But, dude, man, since the early 2000s, it's been too long that we haven't had a great studded quarterback. Last year we did. We had Cam Ward. He put up amazing numbers. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist. He's probably going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, in my opinion. But now we got back-to-back years where we got 2 great quarterbacks. Yeah, he's not going to put up Cam Ward's numbers. I'm not saying that. I don't think he's going to be that prolific out there. But he can get us wins and he can lead us to wins. And the number one problem for last year was not the offense. The offense was great, but it was the defense. Teams were scoring at least 30 plus on us. And it's like when you want to compete against these top teams like University of Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame, et cetera, you got to have a top level defense. You can't have just a mediocre defense and have a top level offense, because then the offense have to recuperate for you guys all the time. No, the defense has to be amazing, just like the offense. And that's what we need next season, because the offense is going to be good, but we just got to see what's good with the defense.
Yeah. And there's also a rumor going on too that some of the wide receivers as well that Georgia had might be coming with them. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. They have the number one drops in the country, but it could be kind of interesting what they got going on there. What do you think, BC?
Well, no, and I was gonna say, to like G Mike's credit, like you gotta make sure the defense is gonna be top notch next year. That's so huge. Like I know the game of football has shifted over the years. A lot of times we think, oh, it's a passing league, oh, it's an offensive league, and this is speaking on the pros. And in college, you see a lot of times with the air raid systems, you see a lot with, a lot of the schools that are great with ground and pound, like triple option. The offense gets such a focus, but really, defense still does win you the championships at the end of the day. You got to keep points off the board. Yes, the main objective is to score points, but if you like G Mike has said, your offense is having to wear their superhero cape 99% of the time. And the one time they're not so super, the defense has got to step up and they fall flat. That's the difference between national championship and second place.
Yeah, well said, man. Yeah, it's going to be kind of cool to see him go to another school, another team, see how this actually works out. He had kind of a down year. I think Georgia in general just kind of had a down year. They were so dominant for so long. The rumor was that they just kind of let him go. Now they're kind of backtracking that and saying that he chose to leave and that they did want him to come back. They only had Gunnar Stockton, only played 2 games. The kid did look like he understood what was going on, and a full season of being the number one could actually help him out. But having said that, Carson Beck to Miami, I think it's going to work out pretty well for them. It's going to be a second move for him, because I think him going straight to the draft would have been a bad move for him, because he did not have a great year. He looked inaccurate. He just did not have a good year. And a lot of people were saying that it was because of how dominant all the passing they had. They had Brock Bowers. They had, the list goes on of their offensive weapons that they had. And the minute he loses them, he kind of looks pedestrian. So with Miami, having said that, though, Miami still has a great offense. It was like you were saying, G Mike, the defense was what the problem was. So Carson Beck to Miami, I think will work out. His girlfriend is already down there, so that's already been a big social media thing going on. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun for Miami. They're going to continue to stay exciting, at least, and fun.
Yeah, and also too, like I will say, I do love this move, not just for Beck, not just for Miami, but also for the fact that it's another team in the SEC taking a hit. So the once mighty SEC, dominant conference powerhouse, is starting to show some chinks in the armor right there.
Yeah, it was almost like you would never leave an SEC, but yeah, it's interesting. I think it's starting to make a little bit more sense for the ACC because of the automatic bids that we're getting as well. So that makes sense for Carson Beck to make that move. So I like the move for Carson Beck.
Shout out Sandy for listening to us at the gym. Appreciate that.
Hey, get that work on it. Get that work on it. There you go. All about
the end of this podcast.
Like a podcast.
All right. So that's not the only big news coming out of college football. Just here recently, we just found out that Quentin Ewers, the University of Texas Longhorn, is going to be declaring for the draft. He's going to be leaving with 9,128 passing yards, a 64.9% completion rating, and 24 INTs. Do you guys think this is the right move for Quentin Ewers to make the move this year?
Negative.
No. Negative. Yeah. I don't think so either, man. I think Quentin Ewers is going to be a decent quarterback, but it's going to be. I think he's not going to be till the second, third round kind of guy. I don't foresee him being a first round talent. But I also feel like that he kind of saw the writing on the wall to the point of Arch Manning is what they've been in the wings waiting for. That's what everybody's been wanting. That's what everybody's been waiting for. I think Quentin Ewers had his opportunity. Played well, didn't play bad at all. They almost made it to the national championship game. They were one of the best teams in the country. But I think that it was a bad move for him to it's the right move for him to come out when he can now, because another season, Arch Manning would have been knocking on the door. And I think that it's the right time for him to leave. He'll be there. Arguably right now, he's sitting at most people have him about the third best quarterback in this draft, which isn't a bad spot to be in. I think he would be more of a project kind of guy. Go to an organization that can let him sit and learn a little bit, and I think he'll have actually a good chance. He had some wheels. He has a pretty decent arm. He's accurate. It just he did not look that great this year. But he also played in the SEC, so go from the Big 12 to the SEC. That changes a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to make that move for sure, but still, it's one of those things where I know Arch Manning is going to be knocking on the door next year, but Ewers to me just didn't look like a finished product, and I feel like you said, he's going to be. Maybe it might be right in terms of his stock might not be higher or something, but I would rather see him get one more season. I'd rather see him grow, mature, and develop more. Yeah, if you want to transfer, cool. If you're not able to hold off Arch Manning, fine. But you need to be able to develop, I think, one more year. A lot of times we see players leaving for the draft, and again, I understand the business aspect of it, but the football aspect of it is some players need that senior year to really develop, to really mature. And is it taking a chance to go to forego the draft or to go one more season? You could possibly get injured. Yeah, of course. But you're also too, you have the NIL, you have transfer portal, you have ways to still make money while you're in college. So it's one of those things where your stock is like mid-third or like third round right now. Go transfer somewhere else. You could possibly take into the solid second or even the first round next year.
No, I agree. I know it's easier said than done. It's not our body. It's not anything like that. But you're totally right. Quentin Ewers could either go to another school and try it again, but that also doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out in his favor. Texas is one of the best teams in the country, and if you're already mediocre or one of the best teams in the country, that could only make you go down. So I think it is the right move for him to finally make that transition to the NFL. And honestly, I think that he's the type of guy. His game is going to translate to the NFL. He kind of reminds me more of a Brock Purdy, which whoever thought we'd actually be comparing people to Brock Purdy ever. But having said that, he reminds me of like a Brock Purdy. If he can get with one of these good offensive teams, an offensive coach that understands things, your boy Liam Cohen, something along those lines. Tampa Bay could be a team that could pick him up possibly if they're going to let go of maybe Kyle Trask. Who knows? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of teams I think that's out there that could take a guy like that, and he's not going to be your day one starter. That's established, and let him learn a little bit. But he definitely reminds me of a project. But I think he is going to work out in the pros. I just don't think he's your day one starter, and I don't think anybody's picking him for that.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. G Mike? What do you think, man?
As a business decision, I feel like it was great on his part because if he would have transferred to another school, who knows if he would have actually played for another school. I would say maybe 70% he would. If he would have gone back to Texas, he's not playing again. Arch Manning is taking that job and he's not playing again. That's why he got up out of there.
Yeah.
And so him going to the draft is him trying to solidify himself and trying to get some money out of it. Instead of going, maybe he thought he couldn't play for another school. Maybe he thought other schools didn't want him. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the draft and see if an NFL team wants me. And I think the NFL team will. But I think it's going to be in the later rounds, maybe round 4, round 5. You probably get drafted. Some teams do need a quarterback, but they don't need a quarterback like him, in my opinion. I feel like I hope you're right, Steve. I would not want to see anybody do bad in their careers, but I just don't see him transitioning well to the NFL. I think that we saw what happens against the SEC teams and that pressure, that top-level defenses that he went up against, he didn't play as well. And I feel like you go to the NFL, it's going to be this exact same thing. A lot of pressure, a lot of defensive linemen coming at you for them sacks, for them QB hits. And I think that pressure is just going to get to him, and he's not going to be a good quarterback. I think he's going to be mediocre at best, a QB too. And, at least you're playing football and getting paid for it. Yeah. I mean, you're riding the bench, but, hey, you're still making $500,000 on the bench. So it's like you got to be grateful for at least that.
I mean, the NFL is one of the few sports. I take that back. Not one of the few sports. NFL, if you go with the right team, it changes everything. And I think it's all about what actually works out a little bit better. Let's not forget Russell Wilson was a third round pick. I hate using the Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady, Brock Purdy. You can find value in some of these guys later on. And honestly, sometimes it's better to go later on because that means you're not trying to be the savior and go to a bad team. There's a reason why they're picking so high. So maybe if you get a team, let's go Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh could use another. They're in a weird spot right now with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Yeah. Oakland, there's teams out there that could use a starter, a backup quarterback. Dolphins, there's a lot of teams that could possibly use a guy that could work out like this. So I think Quentin Ewers has an opportunity to play in the NFL. It's going to be up to him.
I think he has the ability, 100%. I think he has the ability, but I think the mental is not there, which he can work on. I'm not saying that he can't. Just right now, as I see it, I think that he'll just be a mediocre NFL QB.
Yeah, he might be more of like a solid backup, which is fine.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, whatever.
That's a great gig to have.
Getting $500,000, I'll be on a practice squad right now. 10K a month. Yo, I'm out there.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hey, we're going to go ahead and keep it still in the college game because we have a massive, gigantic game coming up. It is the Natty, the National Championship of 2025, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Man, this game is going to be interesting as hell because Notre Dame, no one really picked them to make it this far. And if you did, you're a diehard Notre Dame fan. I can't name anybody that actually picked them to.
I know
very, very, very lucky and knowledgeable.
Yeah, and they've actually looked pretty good though. The path they've went through, they have looked pretty good. They did knock off Georgia. They've done okay for themselves.
But
I just don't know about
a QB too though.
Yeah, I'll give it that. But I mean, let's just go over some statistical facts on Notre Dame real quick. Right now, their points for is 38.5. Their points against is 14.3. So they got a damn good defense. They're number 14th in the country at 210 rushing yards per game. And here's where it gets a little bit crazy: 102nd in the country with 194 average for the passing yards. That's kind of bad going against
man. Against that defensive line. Against that defensive line that's coming to play. That's bad.
Yeah. In Ohio State, I mean, let's face it, they are the bigger brand, not bigger brand. They got the bigger recruits here. Their passing yards are averaging 265.1, which is 25th in the country. Their points against, which is they used to be Texas, now Ohio State took them over. They're only allowing 12.2 points per game, and if they're at 102nd in the league in passing, that don't favor too well for Notre Dame. BC, man, you got any thoughts on this one?
No, I'm just excited because this is going to be a little bit of I mean, not only do you have two classic traditional programs with Ohio State, like schools and Notre Dame, schools that have history, schools that have such prestige, but you've also got kind of a matchup, kind of like an old school throwback matchup, like we said, that front seven, the front four with Ohio State, and then you've got Notre Dame's ground game. This is something, if you're an old school pound the rock, like let's see win in the trenches kind of, if you're that kind of fan, at least on that matchup, you're gonna absolutely love it. Again, but if you're more of a modern fan, modern take with the passing yards, especially when Notre Dame's on offense, you may want to take a little bit of a bathroom break and wait till Ohio State gets on offense, because then that side of the ball, you've got Notre Dame's shutdown secondary against Ohio State's top or one of the best passing offenses in the country. It's going to be a barn burner for sure. It gives a little bit of flavor for kind of everybody, every type of fan, whether old school or new school.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's impressive that Notre Dame even got here too. They only had 3 5-star recruits. I mean, that's crazy, man.
Shout out to that.
I know of only one guy that probably picked Notre Dame to make it this far. I alluded to him last week. Like my boy Dallas used to go to high school with him. Biggest Notre Dame fan, pasty face ginger, man. Everything you'd expect, man. Luck of the Irish is on their side.
Pasty face ginger.
I'm sorry, man. He is. I love the dude, but I'm telling you, he is. This background is tanner than him. Like my gosh.
Yeah,
it'd be your own people, dog. It'd be your own people.
It's all love. Dude, he took that's our relationship, man. It was big bro, little bro in high school, man. So you know how it is.
Yeah.
Shout out to the pasties out there, man. All right. So, anyways, continuing on, we're gonna go ahead and leave the college game. But before we do, you guys want to make a prediction on this one? Is anybody picking Notre Dame?
Negative, baby. Look at the hashtag Ohio State money line. That offense is overpowered compared to Notre Dame. Ohio State's putting up 21 points or more. Notre Dame is not going to put up more than 14 points, people. I'm telling you right now. Ohio State's going to win by like 2 touchdowns, man. That offense is too overpowered compared to the Notre Dame's offense. Their defense is fire, but they'll probably get 1 or 2 turnovers. But Ohio State's just going to take off, man. They're going to take off.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take Ohio State in the game, but I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game. I think both defenses are gonna show up. Will Howard has his moments. Will Howard looks good at times, but there's also been times where Will Howard, ergo Michigan, couldn't do a damn thing either. So, and Notre Dame does have a pretty damn good defense as well. So I think Notre Dame's going to keep it interesting. I just think when it comes down to it, that's where your offense is going to play into it. That Ohio State will be able to score. Notre Dame, not so much. I don't have as much faith in them, especially going against that number one defense in the country. But I do think Notre Dame is going to give them a fight because they have nothing to lose. They're not supposed to be here. And Marcus Freeman is a hell of a coach, and a lot of NFL teams are looking at him. Maybe the Chicago Bears. And what he's done this season is pretty damn impressive, especially after losing that game to Northern Illinois. They could have packed it up, but no, they're in the national championship after losing that game. So I think Notre Dame will give it a fight. I just don't foresee them being able to pull it off because of the offense. Ohio State will just have more firepower, but I expect a low scoring game. I could honestly see one of those old Alabama games where it's like 13-10, something like that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And like we said, Notre Dame shouldn't have been here. They made it this far. Congrats to them, Cinderella story. But I think this is where the clock strikes midnight, and I think that this is where reality slaps them in the face, and Ohio State gets another natty.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ohio State's going to take it too. So we're all going to Ohio State here, and you never know. That it usually doesn't go too well because we also, moving on from college, we also all thought the Los Angeles Chargers were going to dominate the Houston Texans, and damn, were we wrong on that.
They flipped the script, man. Uno reverse card on us, man.
If you did not get the chance to see the score, it was 32-12. Justin Herbert, we're praising him, calling him a dog, and man, he makes so many good plays and had his worst historical game of his career in the playoffs. Man, that one that did not go well at all.
Say the word, George. Say the word.
Cocky performance.
Oh, that's
4 interceptions, dog. J.K. Dobbins
that was
26 yards. I said that he was going to get 70 yards. But he was doing good in the first quarter.
Right.
In the first quarter, he was doing good, and they stopped running the ball with him. Why?
Yep. They threw out the game plan. They wanted to get fancy, and it's like, no, that's where you get burned.
Yeah, how about the Will Dissly interception as well? Like, some of those interceptions weren't totally on Herbert, but having said that, the team just did not play well at all, and we were completely wrong. So to the victory goes to the victors. We got the Houston Texans, and guess what they get for their victory? They get to take on the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. Man, boys, what do you guys think about this one, man? This game's already happened in the past, and the Chiefs came out the victory on that one pretty handily. You guys got any thoughts on this one? Do you think anything's going to be different, or is this the same old Chiefs' playoff time?
New year, same old stuff, man. Kansas City's going to dominate this one. Patrick Mahomes, Kermit the Frog, moving to the second round, into the championship game. Let's go.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game, though, because Kansas City all year has been having close games. They haven't really been blowing out teams. And I think just like Andy Reid always does, a Hall of Fame coach, and Patrick Mahomes always does as a Hall of Fame quarterback, they always find ways to win, and that's exactly what's going to happen this game. They'll find a way to win at the end.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the game where we finally see the Kansas City offense. Like, we see them put points on the board. Correct me if I'm wrong. They haven't scored more than 30 points at all this season.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think the closest was the Bucks when they scored like 27. So they've been winning a lot of games with defense, but I think this first round or this divisional round matchup against Houston, I think this is where we're going to see that streak end. I think they're going to put 30 up. And I think the defense is going to hold Houston to under 20. I think that this is where they say, all right, playoff mode time, activate. And they show people why they are the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs.
They crazy in January, baby. They crazy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, no, they're Kansas City, I think, is the better team. And I think Kansas City will win this game. But the Houston Texans defense showed up last week as well against who we all thought, Justin Herbert and that team was going to be able to do pretty well. So I think Houston's going to be able to give them a little bit of a fight. But the problem is going to be the same as it's been for the NFL for the last couple of years, is that Kansas City gets that week off and Andy Reid gets to play with his toys and freaking come up with plays, man. And let's face it, Steve Spagnuolo always has that defense ready to go. It gives them more time to rest. I foresee Travis Kelce all of a sudden having his breakout performances now that the playoffs are here. They've been kind of holding on to him a little bit. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm happy for him to be able to get this experience. He was able to get a little bit of that.
That's his whole team.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for DeAndre Hopkins. Hopefully he can make it deep in the playoffs. I don't think he really got too far with the Texans when he was there. But Houston, I think they're on the rise. I think they're on the right track, and it's unfortunately that they're in my division with the Colts. But they are definitely on the right track. I just don't think they're ready yet to take on the mighty Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of still think that this is going to be one of those classic Kansas City games that's been all this season, not the old school scoring a bunch of points. I kind of feel like it's going to be one of those one possession games again with Kansas City.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close too.
Yeah.
The lone disagreeer.
That's fine. That's fine. But having said that, as a group, we're all going Kansas City, correct?
Correct.
Chiefs money line.
Kansas City.
Bet the over.
All right. So we're moving over to the other side, and we'll go ahead and get into this one for you, BC. Last week's game, we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Washington Commies, or the Washington Commanders, as BC likes to say. The Commanders pulled off the victory 23-20.
The Commies got you.
We had to go for it. We had to get into it, man. What's your thoughts? You were there. You were working it. How did it all play out, man?
I don't want to talk about it.
I mean, same story all season, pretty much for us. You know, the offense for sure had their struggles. You had a couple miscues for sure. A couple fumbles right there, like Baker on the handoff to McMillan. You got Graham Barton messing up the snap count, so that cost them. But the main story of the game, time of possession. Washington had.
One second, real quick, that too, because I've been hearing a lot of people tell you about that fumble, and like people are acting as if like that was the last play of the game. There was still like 10 minutes to go, was there not?
There was, and
so like, I think Baker's kind of getting a bad rep for that play. Now it was a horrible.
Exactly.
He messed that up, and he took credit. He took the blame for it. But I think people need to stop kind of make that narrative is that was the only bad play. But
my thing with that is right. You see Baker is a dog and a risk taker, right? So you praise him when he does that, and you love him when he does that. But when he doesn't and something negative happens, you want to talk all this smack and say that he's horrible, he shouldn't be on the team, and all this bullshit. And it's like, bro, you guys need to make up your fucking mind if you want him to be a fucking dog or not. Like, you can't be a risk taker and just always be in the positive side of it. No, if you're a risk taker, there's going to be a lot of negatives.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that really upsets me as well with the fans that looked at him this season are saying, oh, he's a bum. He needs to be off the team. 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, 70% completion percentage. Only two other quarterbacks. Exactly. Only two other quarterbacks in NFL history have put up those kinds of numbers. Joe Burrow this year, who should be the MVP, and Drew Brees. So, like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Sit down and go finish your coloring book. Like, whatever. Like, stop. Like, the Baker hate's been ridiculous this year. But again, the handoff McMillan, but it was also, you could say McMillan had a part to play in it too. A rookie wide receiver and then a rookie center messing up the snap count. Like, there does need to be some grace given to those guys because the offense has had to literally carry the load for this team this year.
It's been bad.
With everybody talking about getting on the soapbox a little bit. But, like, everybody's saying that, oh, the offense only scored 20 points. Like, the defense gave up 23. Yeah. The offense has always scored 20 points, I think, in all but one game this year. The defense has given up 20 points in just about every game -1. So, like, cry me a river that the defense continues to suck and the offense couldn't muster up enough points this time. Like, how about the defense keeps the ball or keeps points off the board? How about the defense gets some turnovers? 7 interceptions this year for our defense. Pitiful. And one of them comes from your middle linebacker that's going to be 35 in a few months. Your secondary cannot buy a pick to save their life. And
let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, this is supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, a defensive-minded guru. Everyone is saying, oh, well, they had injuries. Everybody was healthy. Everybody was fine. The only person that wasn't was your second-star wide receiver. So, and the time of possession thing killed us in this game because every single time the Commies had the ball, driving down the field, could not get a stop except on 4th down. Couldn't force a punt. Couldn't do anything like that. So, like, my guy, like, seriously, like, and I'm getting thrown off into a comment.
I love it, dog. Let him fucking cook.
I'm
dog.
sorry, man, but it's
man.
This is everyone's blaming the offense, and it's like, yo, your defense on third down. How many times did I hear 3rd down at the stadium? And sure enough, 1st down. 4th down. Couldn't get a stop. Like, you got to do something. Like, every time, if your defense is letting them cook on 3rd down, like, no, I don't want to hear it about how Todd Bowles should be back next year or his coaching staff on defense should be back and Liam Cohen needs another year. No, Cohen proved it with the offense. He had as many injuries on offense as Bowles did on defense and had just as many rookies playing on offense as Bowles did on defense. I don't want to hear it that like Bowles needs excuses or this and that. No, like, I'm sorry, but like getting bounced like this and being reliant on your top 5 offense this year. But I digress.
Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. BT.
I'm sorry, but like,
take a breather,
I love the
breather,
team.
my boy. Take a breather.
And for anybody that sees this and says, "Oh, well, you're not a real fan because you're talking," it's like, shut up. You're allowed to be a real fan, and you're allowed to critique. Yeah, you're allowed to be a real fan and critique the team, critique their mistakes. It happens. That's how you get better. You don't make excuses. You don't try to like sugarcoat it. You be honest with it and say, yeah, our defense sucked. We have too much talent on that side of the ball to be putting up these kinds of stats. We should be top 5 on both sides of the ball, but we're not. And something's got to give. But that being said, aside from all of that, yeah, atmosphere was great. Love the show that we put on. Like, and I just want to say this as well. Like, this is my 3rd season running camera for the team. I have absolutely loved every single game, the wins and the losses. The team, the crew that I have gotten to be a part of is absolutely amazing. So, like, hey, if anybody at Bucks Vision, you guys are hearing this, you guys are the absolute best team in the NFL to work for. I don't care what any other team says. We're the best damn show in the NFL, and I love it, and I can't wait for next year, and, you know, it's going to be even better. So
please like, subscribe, and comment, baby.
Seriously, man. We got 5 to 7 more subscribers, and we reached 100, man. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Real quick.
I'll tell you what, man. Y'all gonna make our nice man start swearing words, man. He ain't gonna be able to take
for
that.
real. You heard him. You heard him.
That's what
He's about to drop an S-bomb, and it wasn't sucks.
Finally, I'm not the only one that's screaming on this fucking show.
But it's just, but yeah, no, but that's also too. That's our old saying, man. Like Bucks Vision, best damn show in the NFL, man. That's how we roll.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how fucking lucky that field goal boink was?
Yes,
that shit was crazy.
I thought he missed it at first. I was like, oh, sweet, we're going to OT.
I was like, oh, he missed, and then I'm like, no, it went in. Oh,
I was like, oh, I need my extra pay. Come on, But yeah, and also too, can we also talk about the fact that homeboy before that kick is like,
that boy was nervous, super nervous.
Yeah, man. Like if pregame jitters was a gif, that needs to be it right there. Like,
no facts.
Wow,
bro, what a lucky kick, man.
But shout out to the Commanders though. They did what they had to do. They went into enemy territory. They got the job done. They controlled time of possession. They got turnovers when they needed to, and they capitalized on it. Jaden Daniels, again, for being a rookie quarterback, showed a lot of poise and did what he had to do on the big stage. So like gotta tip the hat to him for that. Like they were the better team that night. And like Steve, we're gonna talk about it up next. But man, congratulations. You get to face the Detroit Lions at Ford Field.
Real quick for you Baker haters out there. The man went 15 for 18, 185 yards and 2 TDs with 0 interceptions. So I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
Exactly. Like that's my quarterback, dagnabbit. Like that dude's a dog. Like I love him.
Like dagnabbit. Shots fired. There's the damn nuggets in there, man.
Hey, you got one out of me. That's all you get.
The Lakeland native. The Lakeland native.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and move on before this man actually says a swear word, man. All right, so we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Washington Commanders, and man, this game should be pretty cool here too, man. We got Jaden Daniels taking on the Lions, and honestly, this one could be a scary game for the Lions if that defense can't get right, because Jaden Daniels is not afraid to play against anybody right now. And I think that with him moving on, I think that going to kind of put that to bed that he might have won the Rookie of the Year on this one, winning a playoff game moving on. I don't know if they're going to consider this in the stats for going for that moving forward, but I've been a huge Jaden Daniels fan going this whole season. He's impressed the hell out of me, and Detroit's is going to have to play that offense, man. The defense is going to be scary because they're just decimated right now. They did get an extra time off, but Detroit has been resilient pretty much all year with that problems they've had going on. G-Mike, man, what's your thoughts on this one, dude? This is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game, man. I just want to see how good Detroit's defense is gonna play with all the injuries that they got. The Commanders, they're a well-oiled machine when it comes to their offense. Their defense is not there, so the Lions are gonna be putting up points, at least
Yeah.
probably 30. They'll probably put up 30, but I want to see how the Lions defense is gonna react, and I think they're gonna react well. I got the Lions winning this game, especially at home. They'll probably win by a touchdown field goal, so by like 10 points. But I want to see how that defense is going to react to the Commanders' offense because, like you said, Jaden Daniels is not afraid against anybody right now, and this guy has won the last 6 games under the last possession of the game. So you gotta wait till the clock hits 0 for this game to be over. But I said, I think the Lions are gonna win by 10 points, and they'll probably by like 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they're gonna be up by 10, probably have the ball, and they just run it down from there with that best rushing offense in the league.
Yep, that's honestly the smart thing to do at this point. You got to dominate time of possession against this Washington offense because especially with the fact that your defense has been as depleted as it's been, I am very curious to see how the edge rush is able to contain Jane Daniels. It doesn't seem like really many people have. And again, what do you do with a scrambling quarterback that has a great arm, but that's also great under pressure? Like the bright lights, prime time deficits do not phase this man at all. So, and like you Mike said, his confidence is probably at an all-time high. So like you gotta, if you're Detroit, Dan Campbell, you gotta find a way to put some oomph in that defense, get some juice in there, and you gotta make sure you gotta be able to contain. If you can contain Daniels and make him beat you as a passer, he's still a tough out for sure, but it's better than letting him run roughshod on your defense, and then you're going to stack the box, and then he's just going to beat you over the top. Like you gotta find a way to contain. You got to have your pass rush get home, and the offense, like G-Mike said, dominate time of possession, run the clock out, you play to your strengths, play away from your weaknesses, and you'll win it. Don't overthink.
Yeah, I do think Detroit's going to win this game too, but I would not be like absolutely shocked if we come back next week and we're talking about that the Commanders pulled off that upset against them, man. Like the Commanders have impressed, and I think the future is extremely bright with that coaching staff. There's been some talks, maybe Cliff Kingsbury. I'm trying to say that one a couple of times fast. Cliff Kingsbury. There's been some talk of possibly some NFL coaching positions, whatever, but I think that he's going to stick around. I think he doesn't really necessarily want that pressure of being the head coach again. He's already been there, done that, and I think it makes more sense. He's having fun, and he wanted to play with this kind of style of quarterback. It's basically Kyler Murray 2.0, 3.0, really. This is what whenever he was in Arizona, this is what he had the envision for, a mobile quarterback that has an arm that is accurate, that is not afraid. It just Kyler Murray was a different story. If I was Cliff Kingsbury, I would hang out. I would stay in Washington for a couple more years because Jane Daniels is just getting started. This kid is going to be possibly MVP caliber quarterback in maybe the next 2-3 years, something like that. It's going to be hard with the quarterbacks we have right now. And that kid is going to be something special for the next couple of years. I don't think this is the year, but I would not be shocked at all if Washington pulled off the upset. And only reason is just because of how decimated Detroit's defense. If Detroit's defense came in healthy, I don't think this game would be much of a game. But they do have a puncher's chance in this just for the simple fact that Jaden Daniels can't run that offense. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, is not afraid of anybody either. So they got a great duo. The defense, Washington's defense was horrible to start the season and has came on a lot better in the going weeks, whatever. And Dan Quinn, what's that?
Yeah,
still bad though. Still bad.
It's
not good.
Yeah, they need to get a couple wide receivers in the draft and then definitely fix that. Maybe if they can spend a second round pick on a top flight wide receiver, Terry McLaurin's your guy. But having said that, though, too, that defense is still bad. That's where they need to spend their offseason getting defensive players. And Dan Quinn's a hell of a defensive coach. I mean, he just seems like that type of guy that can rebuild. I'm sure you guys do in Dallas, especially with what's going on in Dallas right now, too. I mean, you guys had Dan Quinn and could have kept him there, too, if they weren't going to do it.
Yeah, really blew
Do it real quick because you brought up the draft and the Commanders. So I really think the Commanders are going to trade in the draft for a superstar wide receiver to pair up with Terry McLaurin. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go for Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, interesting. Okay.
They need another receiver. They need another receiver out there.
That's gonna be some fun. We'll definitely get into more of that for sure after the playoffs. We got some more time going on. But yeah, I like that talk. That's Devontae Adams there. That'd be I wouldn't hate that at all. I don't think the NFL fans would either, man.
Yeah, and before we move on as well, like if you're Detroit, obviously we said run the ball because Washington's run defense is
Run the ball.
awful.
The worst rush defense in the damn league.
Yep. But in
Run the
addition to
ball.
that, though, their best cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore, like, torch him. Like, if I'm getting Amon-Ra St. Brown on that matchup and I am torching him left, right, center. Mike Evans made homeboy cry last week. Like, I don't know what Amon-Ra is going to do to him. Like, you see, he's a psychopath, so he's going to play he's going to give him PTSD or something. Like, my gosh.
Yeah,
They'll play a lot of zone actually, because what the Lions like to do, they like to do a lot of switch around wheels and drag routes. So it's like if you're cutting across the field as a corner trying to keep up with one of the fastest receivers in the league, and Amon St. Brown, it's gonna be tough, man. So I think there's gonna be a lot of zone being played.
All right, so there's a big question coming up with Detroit before we're about to move on from Detroit on here too. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, they're both talks that they're going to leave. If you were in their spot, would you leave for now the big talk is the Raiders for Ben Johnson, or would you stick around? I personally, I know it's easier playing with somebody else's money when it ain't yours, especially in the NFL. If I'm Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, I'm sticking around Detroit for as long as you can before it starts to fall apart, because they are ready to win. Now you're going to realize the fact that if you leave Detroit and you go to the Las Vegas for the Raiders job, what do you really have? Now, I think he can change it if you get the right draft picks in there. You got Brady running things on the booth. But if I was them, I would stick around 1-2 more years or so until an actual great job opens up. That's just me. But
yeah. Well, and that's, I think, the problem with today's NFL. To be fair, to play the other side of it, and I've heard this said a lot, is that there's only 32 of those jobs that are available, and they don't always open up. You maybe get like 3 or 4 of them every single year. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's a tremendous honor to be chosen as a head coach for an NFL team, and that's something nobody can take away from you, and that's great. But like you said, what's your mindset? Do you want to just be the head coach and be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, or do you want to build something great and then build off of that for your legacy moving forward? And that's, I think, knowing Dan Campbell and the system that he has in Detroit, I can honestly see both guys, like you said, Steve, sticking around for a couple more years and seeing what this group can do.
I think I cut you off on that. I'm sorry, G-Mike. So go like you were just saying, bringing up Dan Campbell. I think the wild thing about Detroit, and I think it works out really well for them, is that Dan Campbell doesn't try to be what he's not. Dan Campbell is almost just a great manager, and he's just overseeing the guys. It's Ben Johnson's offense. It's Aaron Glenn's defense. Those guys are running it. Dan Campbell is just there to make sure things are kind of together. He's the one that gets the blame for things. But really, I think in a way they're running their side of the ball, and they're getting to do whatever the hell they want, and with great players. So that's a deciding factor. I feel like that, man. It's got to be hard to leave, even though you're completely right. There's only 32 jobs, and it doesn't come around all the time. But if they get a couple rings underneath there, your check goes up and your work goes up.
Yeah, and you could also too go to more prestigious organizations as a result.
Yeah, I see it different ways though, right? Like, so we're speaking hypothetically if this was us in their shoes, correct? Yeah. So if we go to the Super Bowl and we win it, I would really consider going to another team. I already got my chip. I'm going to get more money being a head coach, because you get substantially more money than being a coordinator as being a head coach. Definitely. I get to run my own system. I get to run things how the way I want it. I get to bring in whoever I want. I could draft whoever I want, and a lot of perks come with being a head coach, right? Now, we go to the NFC Championship, we lose. We go to the Super Bowl, we lose. I'm going to stay because we're trying to build something together and actually win together and be champions together. Like, that whole brotherhood in that locker room after a loss is going to be very devastating for any of these teams. It's going to be very devastating. And when you have that loss, you don't want to leave and be like, damn, bro, like I left. Yeah. We could have done something special and we didn't. Damn, bro. Like, you don't want to have that on your shoulders. So it's like, if you win, yes, I would up and leave and try to get a head coaching job and get more money somewhere else. And we're still boys. We still remain in contact. If we lose, we running that shit back.
Yeah, and I think I totally understand where you're coming from on that one. My only thing would be but what you're saying in there too is it's kind of what I was getting at, was that they are kind of already running their side of the ball. You know what I mean? Like Ben Johnson is get to do whatever the hell he wants, all these trick plays, and Dan Campbell's loving it. He's going to tell him no.
But they're not getting the money. They're not getting the money.
That's what it looked up, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it comes to. Some guys just don't necessarily even like it either. I mean, hell, Spagnuolo, how many times has that guy should have been a head coach? He was a head coach for a little bit, and it didn't really work out. He's been a defensive coordinator for the last few years. Vic Fangio, some of these
people
guys
are head coaches, and some people are DCs or OCs.
Yeah, and some people just great at what their job is.
Well, look at, again, a Bucs example, Monty Kiffin, one of the greatest defensive minds of all time, never became a head coach, just stuck with being a coordinator, and he was okay with that. He just wanted to focus on defense, and I think to be a great head coach, you can't just be offensively minded or a great play caller. You have to also be able to relate to players, and I think that's what makes Dan Campbell such a great head coach. Like, he's what a lot of people call like a walk-around guy. Like, he goes around, talks to everybody, manages all the egos, the personalities, the depth chart.
He's a leader of men. He's a leader of
exactly.
And it's the perfect city for him, for a tough guy city, for a tough city kind of thing, and you don't need to be a great play caller to be a great head coach. You have your coordinators that can do that. So Well, we have other games as well, and unfortunately for the rest of the playoffs, for the other games, they were all pretty much blowouts. We end up having the Rams just sack the hell out of Sam Darnold, made him see ghosts again. They took it 27-9. The Eagles put a hurting on the Eagles put a hurting on the Packers. So both my Super Bowl picks are officially out, and the Packers unfortunately just got really, really hurt in that game. And Jordan Love just did not look ready for that.
9 injuries, bro.
They were just
crazy,
extremely injured. Lost 3. They lost Christian Watson already the week before, and then they lost 2 other ones in there, plus other defensive players. The Eagles just whooped them on defense, and then on top of it too, Jordan Love just did not look ready for the spotlight in that spot, and they were just so banged up, man.
Intercepted.
It was bad. And then you had the Bills just putting a hurting on the Broncos, and besides that, a beautiful first drive. Man, I tell you what, whenever I was getting excited that first drive, I was like, wow, look at Bo Nix. Looked great. And then they did not do a damn thing after that, man.
One of my boys texted me. He's like, oh, it's going to be a good game. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Sure.
I was about to say, where's my flip-flop at? I'll give you guys an accurate description as to what happened.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and stick on the NFC side since we've already been talking about this one down here. And we got the
AFC South has more wins this postseason than NFC North and AFC West combined. Nice. Great stat.
Great stat. Unfortunately, I wish my Colts had more of them. Because they damn sure did not, man. All right, we're going to go ahead and stick with the NFC side of the playoffs right now. And, Dan, this is going to be a cool one too, man. We got the LA Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Woo! Man, this is going to be a fun game here, man. Matthew Stafford is going to be taking on Jalen Hurts for the quarterback spot. You got all kinds of wide receiver game here, man. This is going to be a fun one. You got Saquon going. Well, what's you guys' thoughts on this, guys?
Oh man, it's an interesting matchup for sure. Obviously, not the one that I predicted. I was hoping for a Stafford homecoming part like 3 or 4 at this point, but no, it's going to be good for sure. Like, you've got obviously Hurts. He's still the younger of the 2 quarterbacks. He's had kind of his struggles in the postseason here and there, versus Matt Stafford, who obviously had a huge run in the Super Bowl back, I want to say like 3 years ago. It's crazy to think that.
You just see what this guy wrote. Sorry, bro. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, do they have a pride parade? Maybe.
Oh man, but no, it's just I definitely did not expect. I did not expect the Rams to be able to pull this one off. But you've got a proven veteran quarterback. You've got a solid run game, great pass catchers, and an underrated defense as well. Like Jared Verse really has come on as a really solid pass rusher for them. Not completely filling the Aaron Donald hole that's in that defense, but he's doing his best and he's doing a darn good job. So, that it's an underrated matchup. And then Philly, Saquon Barkley, man, it's been going. He's been carrying his team for most of the season.
That should be MVP right there.
He should be. The fact that they give it to the best quarterback each year is a shame, especially in seasons like this.
Yeah,
but
yeah, award.
Honestly, just change up that. That's a topic for another day. But you guys,
G Mike, what's your thoughts, bro?
Dude, man, I would love to say that the Eagles are gonna lose, man, but bro, that defense is just too good, man. That running offense is just too good. They have the greatest game manager quarterback in the game. He goes out there and he just game manages with the best of them. And dude, they're just a well-oiled machine,
just
man.
So great at the clock.
He's just so great at game managing, man. Just so great. 150 yards last week.
Asking him to pass, you know. Who does that? You know, he keeps the time of possession.
And then I don't see the Rams defense playing so great like they did against the Minnesota Vikings 2 weeks in a row. I don't see it happening. I'm not saying they're going to play horrible, but I don't see them playing great. Jared Verse, top rookie right there, a great draft pick that they got this season. First draft pick they had in 4 years, 3 years. So it was a great pick for them.
It was a good pick. Yeah.
It was 2016?
I think 2016 was the last one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But
and they managed to get a Super Bowl out of it. They managed to get a Super Bowl out of that still too. That's
but not with the guy they drafted though, enough.
Yeah, right. Dude, the Eagles are just a better squad, and I just see the Eagles winning this game, probably maybe by a touchdown. And Saquon Barkley is gonna remain doing MVP stuff. He'll probably have another 100-yard game in a TD.
All right, well, you couldn't say it, so I'm going to say it. The Rams are going to win this game. I think that's going to put the Eagles on upset alert, man. I think the Rams. I don't necessarily think that the Rams are a better team than the Eagles are, but I just don't like the way the Eagles' offense has looked. And Matthew Stafford and them boys will put up some points. Sean McVay always is going to give you some offense, and Jared Verse, like you were saying, he's been coming along. Their defense is very underrated. Obviously Philly has a way better defense, but I'm going to take LA in this one. I love Matthew Stafford, and that guy's going to come out and play. He's already got the ring. He's been in this position a few times. Puka Nacua is going to give you what he's got, and Cooper Kupp has been quietly a great number 2 still. It's just they focus so much on him. So I kind of just think that this could be a Cooper Kupp game for the Rams. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one for my upset of the weekend.
I'm gonna hope that happens, but being analytical, I got to give it to Philly at this one. But I hope I'm wrong because I want to see Stafford in Detroit round 3. Let's do it.
No, I hope I'm wrong too because it's fuck the birds. Always.
You know who else would like to see that is the old NFL. Which that would be some great ratings, would it not? Stafford against the Rams versus Detroit, the Stafford Bowl, that whole thing. That would be great for them.
It's the NFL scriptwriters, man. Take notes. You guys. I know you guys watch this podcast.
I saw the stat the other day. The last time the top 2 rushing leaders in the NFL of that season made it to the Super Bowl, and this year we have Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens that we will talk about in a bit, and Saquon Barkley of the Philadelphia 76ers still in the playoffs. So
wait, whoa, 76ers, dude.
I'm sorry. I looked at the.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
NBA right quick. I got it pulled up here on the other screen.
All right. So having said that,
So
this game, we all went Detroit last game. We all for this game's picks. I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams. G Mike, what you got?
Right, Eagles money line.
Got Eagles in this one.
Eagles. All right. So 2 against 1. All right. We'll see how this one plays out. Well, this is going to lead into the game that everybody wants to see, man. The Buffalo Bills taking on the Baltimore Ravens.
MVP versus MVP.
Man, this game is going to be the game of the day without a doubt, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson just doing ridiculously amazing things out there in the QB position. It's just amazing what these guys have been able to do. I have always been the anti-Lamar guy on here. I'll admit it, and Lamar has impressed. He did actually look pretty good in the last game. He's doing things that I've never seen any other really quarterback do, including Michael Vick on his legs and the arm. Having said that, though, man, I got to show some love for the Buffalo Bills. When we first started, we this show and one of our first few episodes, we were talking about what we had season outlooks, and all of us. I had Buffalo Bills coming in second. I thought the Dolphins were going to take the division. I thought the Bills were going to be okay, but not this damn good. But they have put together a hell of a team at the me against the world attitude, and I'm really happy for the Buffalo Bills. Their fans are great, and they just have a good team. And I think a lot of people keep on playing this whole narrative that they're a cute story. No, the Buffalo Bills are pretty damn good. Their defense can't stop the run very much, which is going to be unfortunate with these two guys.
They've gotten better.
They've gotten better, and Buffalo isn't just some cute story. Buffalo is the real deal, man. G Mike, man, what's your thoughts on this one, guy?
I definitely want the Ravens to win, and I feel like they can win, but Buffalo Bills are 8-0 at home. They have not lost a game at home this season. It's going to be a lot of snow. That's going to be a crazy effect for the Ravens that really don't play in snow as much as Buffalo does. Josh Allen has been in snow games and he has performed. James Cook has performed in snow games. So the running game for the Bills is going to be there as well. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens defense is amazing. They're top ranked in every single category since week 12, week 13.
Yeah.
And dude, they've been doing crazy stuff. But bro, I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. Whichever team wins is gonna be by a field goal. If I had to put money on a team to win, dude, I gotta take Buffalo at home. I have to. Like they're just a well-oiled machine at home, and especially in a snowy game. And it's gonna be tough for the Ravens to actually pull this one off.
See, I'm gonna disagree a little bit. I'll push back a little bit slightly. I think that, again, I do agree that this will be a low scoring one. It's gonna be a defensive battle for sure, but I think whichever team dominates on the ground is gonna pull this one out. And I like Baltimore's ground game more. Like, again, you can maybe say cold weather will play a factor into it. Usually when it comes to running the football, I don't see it as much being a factor. And again, I guess I just feel like Baltimore's run defense is going to be too good for Buffalo to stop, or not run defense, rush offense is going to be too good for Buffalo's defense to stop. And I think that they're going to do just enough to squeak through this one and escape with a win.
Yeah, I'm sticking. I'm sticking with Buffalo in this one too, man. I love what they're doing, man. Josh Allen was my MVP pick to start the season, and I think he's just going to continue to go on and play. G Mike, what you were saying before about the weather, it is looking like it's supposed to be scheduled at the moment. Anything can change. 20 degrees and partial snow. I don't know how much it'll be. We'll see. It's supposed to be, I think, 24. Feel less than that. Baltimore definitely does get cold. I've been to Baltimore before, and that place is cold as hell, but it does not snow like it does in Buffalo.
Yeah, it doesn't snow.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's a lot of water around there and everything. Anyway, get off the meteorology box here. Let's get back to football. Anyways, having said that, though, yeah, I love what Buffalo's doing.
Appreciate it, Sandy.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you for checking in. Well, yeah, I love what Buffalo's doing, man. I'm high on Buffalo in this one. I think that they have a great chance to beat them. I'm hoping that it's going to be a competitive game. I think this is going to be the game that's going to score a lot of points as well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling what Buffalo's doing, man. I got a lot of confidence in them. So go Bills, man. I'm going Buffalo. G Mike, who you taking? He said.
I'm taking Buffalo, man, because of the conditions, and they've been playing well at home. But I do want the Ravens to win. I hope that they win.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this one as well, just because we alluded to it a little bit ago. So we both everybody is under the assumption that this is pretty much the MVP bowl. Do you think this game determines who's the MVP?
I don't think it determines. Now, if you're asking me, should it? I think that would be pretty dope. This game, like the NFL, just make it known. Put it on SportsCenter, ESPN, put it everywhere. Be like, whoever has the better game this game, because it's been so close all year, is going to win the MVP. I think that would be sick, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to base it off of this game. They're going to go just for the stats. And honestly, I see Lamar Jackson getting MVP3.
That's a good ring actually to it. Do you think that this should be that they should have it based off of the postseason as well, or it should just be a regular season award?
I mean, you can make the argument for really pretty much like any sport. Should we even have like Super Bowl MVPs, World Series MVPs? Should we have like? Well, I think with the NFL, because there's only 4 extra games really for the best. Like, I think that you should factor in postseason. I think. Yeah,
the NBA is definitely the NBA does regular season. As a Mavs fan, I remember that Dirk won and they were out in the first round. So I mean, I think most awards should be in the postseason as well. I like the postseason aspect of it if you're going to go off of winning percentage and records, because honestly, if you're throwing record out the window, which Joe Burrow should be the MVP. But if you're going off of winning and team and all that good stuff, then you can fight between these two guys. Even Saquon can have a say so in that. But I kind of feel like it should be postseason if they're going to base everything off of winning percentage and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go. I think Lamar will probably get it, but I'm still sticking with my preseason pick and taking Josh Allen in this, man. Josh Allen just impressed the hell out of me this season, especially, man. He just looks good, man. He's playing out of his mind. All right, guys. So we got 2 for the Bills and 1 for the. Did you go for Ravens, BC?
I did.
2 for the Bills, 1 for the Ravens. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the NFL talk for us, man, and we are so excited about it. But we got one more segment for you, and this one's going to be a lot of fun. We've been looking into this one. It's time for our installment of the Down Bad debate, and this one's a fun one here, man. This one's a pretty cool one right here. So if you can see on the screen, and if you're watching from home, which team would you take? So we got the Ohio State squad of C.J. Stroud, J.K. Dobbins, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin. We got Georgia, Matthew Stafford, James Cook, Ladd McConkey, George Pickens, Brock Bowers. We got LSU representing Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which that one kind of surprised me. He got in the mix, but I get it. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors. We got Oklahoma being represented. We got Jalen Hurts, Joe Mixon, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews. And last but certainly not least, we got Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa, Derrick Henry, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, and Calvin Ridley. All right, Mr. BC, you're up top. Any thoughts on this before we can make your pick? Any surprises from these schools that made it in this the squad?
I mean, LSU are, for me, like you said, you alluded to it earlier. I'm surprised that they haven't given like a Leonard Fournette some love.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was thinking.
He,
like, why you put Clyde Edwards? I get it. He had a good career there, but I think Fournette,
Leonard Fournette, the more sensational running back coming out of college. Yeah. I would say probably the more sensational back in the NFL. Actually, like I would say of the two in terms of impact on their team. Definitely made more of one for sure in Tampa and in Jacksonville too. Like those early years of Fournette, he was a dog.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, that's my big
Jacksonville Jaguars. They're crazy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, scary dude. So to me, that's kind of like my biggest snub if I had to pick one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was kind of thinking that surprised me. They had to add a running back in there. So yeah, that kind of surprised me that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the one that they chose in this one. That was kind of interesting to me. I actually kind of forget Joe Mixon went to Oklahoma. He kind of gets forgotten about almost in college. He had a great college career. Had a little bit of off the field drama. That's kind of think what happened with him. But if things happen in college and you move on or whatever. But I kind of forgot all about him being there. And you obviously could even throw Baker Mayfield instead of Jalen Hurts as well.
Yeah.
Like Baker Mayfield, I think had more of an impact in Oklahoma than he did than Jalen Hurts did. But
yeah, 100%. And I would say for instead of J.K. Dobbins, why is Zeke not there? Why is Zeke not there?
Oh yeah.
They won a national championship with the guy.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but I think a lot of this though too is more of a recency bias. Like, what have you done lately for me? Not.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Well, with the group, it's like the recent dudes in the NFL that have been going off. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, and it's kind of wild too. If you look at Alabama, man, isn't it amazing? Just out of all of Alabama, their quarterbacks, they as dominant as they have been.
The quarterbacks are never really great.
Right. They've always just been good quarterbacks. No one's like blowing you away. Like, oh my God, he's a must pick, must have, so that is kind of interesting with that Alabama has always just kind of had good quarterbacks, not great quarterbacks. But all right, Mr. BC, do you feel like you're confident that you're going to have your right pick and beat us out in here? And everybody out there, if you're watching, you're listening, go ahead and make your comments. Let your voice be heard out there too. That's what this is all about. So Mr. BC, what university are you taking and why?
I got to go with LSU on this one. I mean, obviously you have, if we're going just strictly based off of college success, you have the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest season in college football history. 60 passing touchdowns, Heisman Trophy, national championship. Like, it's so tough to do that. Not only that, but in my opinion, this is the best receiving core by far. You can make the claim, with running backs, obviously we did with Fournette, but you got peak Joe Burrow throwing it to just this ungodly trio at wide receiver. Like it is a defense's worst nightmare right here. Like, good luck covering arguably the best wide receiver in the league right now in Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase is the reason why that is arguably, receiving Triple Crown this year. And then, Malik Neighbors as well, underrated. And again, if we're going based off the times in college, still best athletes in college at their position for that season. Like, it's insane the amount of production LSU gets. Now, if you were to add defense, maybe it'd make things interesting, but this is strictly sticking to offense. And
yeah, we're only going off of this.
Exactly. So, but like when it comes to just sheer dominance and
so much fun though too, would it not?
Yeah, sheer talent on in the passing game, airing it out. You kind of are okay with the okay production at the running back.
Mr. G Mike, you're up next, man. Let your voice be heard.
I do like the LSU pick. I think it's a great pick. I think for me it was number 2 on this list. The only reason I don't like LSU is because they don't have a tight end that can block on the outside for me. And I need a tight end to block on the outside for me if we're trying to get this running game and passing game going. So I like Oklahoma. You got the greatest game manager in the game with Jalen Hurts. You got a star-studded running back with Joe Mixon that he could catch and run the ball. You got 2 playmaking wide receivers that can go deep, run small routes, run out routes, run quick routes, whatever you want. And you got a tight end that can run routes as well, sticky glue hands, and he's going to block for Joe Mixon to get 100 yards in the game.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews
is a dog. Mark Andrews is a dog at blocking. Look at his blocking.
Okay. Oof, yeah, he's
I wouldn't say the best. I wouldn't say the best.
He's no Gronk. He's no Gronk, but I'll be 100%, fair.
100%.
I'd say Brock Bowers is more Gronk than anyone on this list.
Yeah, I could buy that.
I mean, there's only 2 of them, so yeah.
Exactly. Tell them that.
There you go.
I'll take Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. All right. Well, I would just for fun here, I'm going to go Ohio State. I believe in BC's pick as well as LSU. That offense is just insane. Like there's nothing you can do. If those 3 guys are on the line at the same time, there's virtually nothing you can do to stop them at all. But just for fun, I'll actually go ahead and take Ohio State there, man. CJ Stroud, back when he was at college, we're going off of that as well. CJ Stroud was a dog too whenever he was playing for Ohio State. Garrett Wilson was amazing, and you got Scary Terry coming back to play with these belt fellas. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, most people, why did they not have Marvin Harrison Jr.? Just thinking of that.
That's what I was thinking too. If you put Marvin Harrison Jr. over and Jason Smith and the Jigba, bro, I might would have changed my pick. I'm not gonna lie.
If you replace J.K. Dobbins with Marvin Harrison Jr., I think this is a legit argument with LSU and Ohio State. But I'll go ahead and play the devil's advocate here. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is an amazing slot receiver in there. And he was actually on the outside in here. And Garrett Wilson can play with damn near anyways. He's got the size. And Scary Terry's afraid of nobody, man. So I'll take Ohio State in this one. But it is not by not very easy pick, man. Because that LSU squad, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, enough said right there, man. So I would love to take LSU, but for the fun of it, I will go ahead and take Ohio State in this one, man. But they should have replaced J.K. Dobbins with Marvin Harrison Jr. If that's the case, it's a hands down. I would hands down go
with Zeke and then Jason Smith and the Jigma with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes, there you go.
They take it.
Yeah.
100%.
So replace J.K. Dobbins with Zeke. Add Marvin Harrison in there. It's over. I think that's a done deal for Ohio State. But for all intents and purposes for this one, I'll take Ohio State.
All right.
LSU, Oklahoma, Ohio State. Woo!
Yeah. Just next time, make sure I don't pick first, and then you make the one you want.
Yeah, there you go. Well, he's
the host of the show, so that ain't gonna happen.
We'll get a rotation in this joint one day.
Right, nice guys finish last. What can I say? All right, fellas, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up, man. It's gonna be a fun football weekend. We got the national championship coming right after that. Divisional games on Monday. Please be safe out there, guys. Give us a like and subscribe. Watch everything we got going on. Please like the clips. Give us what you want out there, man, because this debate was actually pretty good. So I'm hoping we get some comments out there and everybody wants to see what you got going on. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us and all the watches. G-Mike, you got anything for the people?
Yeah, guys, just please like, subscribe, and comment. Talk smack, make fun of Steve's haircut, make fun of my haircut.
Why is this 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, dude, it is.
I actually put gel
first thing that came to mind, honestly. First thing that came to mind. Just saying, talk smack. Give us some reviews. Give us some likes. Please share the show with your family and friends. It'll be greatly appreciated to help us out and support. And if you guys want us to support any of your stuff that you got going on, just send us a quick DM in IG or Facebook or wherever you follow us, and we could get that going for you. And we greatly appreciate you guys. Right now, we got 18 viewers right now on the live. We appreciate y'all. Next time, try to chime in the chat more. Come and talk smack, baby.
Yeah, that debate was welcome for everybody to be out there talking. I thought we were going to have a bunch of people out there talking on that one. So
Yeah.
but it's all good though. We can always in the reshoot and everything like that. So whenever you guys are watching it again, make some comments because I'm sure that one's going to be some fire comments, man.
Yep. And I mean, shoot, I know like NFL season, college football's coming to a close, but you know, sports never stops, man. The grind keeps going. So like, hey, NBA season's kicking up. You know, we're about to get to the All-Star game in about a month or so. You've got baseball, spring training that's going to be coming up soon in about a month as well. So like, hey, don't be sad, don't be down. We've got your favorite sports covered. Again, you guys want us to cover any topics at all, let us know. We got you guys, and we'll bring you on even. Like we said, you know, like chat us up in the comments, or even too, like you said, let us know you guys want to be on the show. You want to take me on Down Bad Debate. You want to take on G Mike or Steve. It's gonna be a great time. Steve never stops. So there we go. G Mike's gonna drop the tune for the intro right there. So
Down bad.
yeah, man, it's gonna keep rocking and rolling. That's how we do over here at Views from the Stand.
No,
We're here for you
R&B.
guys.
We're gonna be R&B.
There we go. Well,
Think
just
it's
before we
slow
leave,
down.
I got to give a shout out to my guy G Mike, man. You got some good news for you, man. What happened for you today, my
Yeah,
man?
man. Tell it.
Don't put me on the spot, man.
Because it's good news, man. It's good news, man. Let the people-
Surprise!
I got a gig with a media company to cover the Miami Heat. It's gonna be dope.
So not only will be on there, man, it'll be shout outs on there.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Shout out
Yes,
to
sir.
G
You
Mike,
guys
man.
already know.
Congratulations. You're well deserved, my man.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
well, that's going to do it for us for Views from the Stands. Like we said, we'll be back next week. Please like and subscribe. Be safe out there. We love you guys. Have a good night.
Peace.